merit. Individuals vary widely in their abilities across the entire range of human endeavor. A small number of highly productive people operating within all domains of human creative endeavor account for most of the production and progress. A direct relationship therefore obtains between the recognition and promotion of excellence and the ability for societies to ameliorate absolute privation, to generate and disseminate creative solutions to new and unexpected problems, to provide opportunity for individual and social flourishing and advancement, and to justly and effectively reward those endeavoring to be productive, successful, and generous. The tight causal connection between merit and consequence means that pure merit can be defined objectively by the ability to undertake the work and build the social networks associated with goals valued by the free choice of actors in the free marketplaces of friendship, community association, consumer choice, employment opportunity, and political decision. Such merit has been validly, however partially and imperfectly, and must remain the fundamental principle governing selection, placement, and advancement in our social institutions. Responsibility. Every individual requires a purpose to offset the tragedy of life. Every person needs something of true value to set against the anxiety, frustration, disappointment, grief, and pain of mortal existence. That purpose is not to be found in the cynicism that too easily replaces an initial naivety, or in a short-sighted, narrow, and reactive hedonism, but in the establishment of the stable, reliable, truthful, and productive intimate relationships, friendships, apprenticeships, civic bonds, political duties, philosophical commitments, and religious habits and practices. In the absence of the structure and direction produced by such bonds and activities, the tragedy of life looms unacceptably large. Individuals subjected to suffering in the absence of an orientation towards meaning and responsibility become cynical, unstable, hopeless, and alienated. Then, resentful, vengeful, and dangerous. Conservatives can offer personal responsibility, the committed social bonds of marriage, family, and job, and true civic engagement as valid and reliable antidotes to the nihilism of unearned cynicism, the temptation of narrow short-term pleasure, and the demoralizing consequences of faithless hopelessness. Such advocates can remind us all that sacrifice, the willingness to forestall the gratifications of the immediate moment, the willingness to engage in difficult endeavors in the present to build something worthwhile for the future, the moral obligation to withstand the trials of immediate, timely disagreement and conflict to ensure a lasting peace, is a laudable, necessary, and ultimately redeeming activity. Such advocates can finally define a pathway through the pitfalls of guilt, offering atonement through responsibility as the proper response to the inevitably unequal distribution of talents and privileges. Community. The West has rightly emphasized the value of the individual, drawing on traditions derived from Rome, Athens, and Jerusalem. The admirably liberal West has properly and usefully articulated a doctrine of individual rights grounded in natural law, in consequence, and that has led to an era of freedom unparalleled in its productivity, generosity, and universality. But the highest ideal to which an individual might aspire cannot be grounded in an atomistic individualism, or predicated on the assumption that the highest manifestation of human striving be akin to an isolated, self-actualization. Conservatives can rightly insist the highest must serve the lowest, communally, in the truly religious sense, can rightly observe that we find our very sanity in relationship to community. Conservatives can note that sanity itself, both personal and social, is something continually and inescapably negotiated. That there can simply not be the happiness or the pursuit thereof at the individual level in the absence of the optimally functioning social surround. A purely individual ethos is shallow, unsustainable, unworthy, and fragile. What do we do when our happiness vanishes? A purely individual ethos fails to provide the orientation crucial for the upward striving that constitutes hope, the integrity necessary to resist temptation, the antidote to the dangerous and narcissistic expansion of ego and presumption, or the bounds of love that support us through tribulation, trial, and tragedy.